Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Hey, Paula Penley, Hand of the Blind Kitty, good to see you. Hello, Zena Turner. Charlie Murphy, good to see you, my man. Charlie Knowles is a rock star. Janet G, how are you? Fancy Nancy, glad you're here. Just Pauline, creepy. Let's see. Some people are street. Some people are smart. Some peeps street smart. I may be neither, but I watch and see. There must be a moon tonight because feisty here. Okay, creepy. Glad that you're here. I really am. There is a difference between smarts come in an awful lot of sizes, people. They also come in an awful lot of shapes. I'll tell you something. This Tommy Bird, good to see you. One with cats. Hey, Shell. Virginia. Shani, how are you? Creepy. Davey. Miradira, how are you? I don't know if I've ever said hello to you. Hunter Bay. Jason. Ron Steinberger. Making fry bread. Nice. Third eye open. Teacher, nurse. I see Taekwondo for life. You know what? A lot of good things people are saying about Taekwondo for life. Rachel, good to see you. Marie, there's Cricket, and you are not a porn bot, I swear. No, it's the truth. She's not a porn bot. We can try, but she just won't seem to get down that way. Monk. Good to see you, my friend. Henny, how are you? Deeming 9, 7th Son, good to see you. We got Lady J. Hi to my single friends, and have yourself a happy single awareness day. Nice. JJ Wright says, hello, tree hugger. You know what? Speaking of trees, where's that tree hugging Buddhist? Let me show you something. How about that, folks? Let me show you something that's cool about this, all right? That right there is Alice, all right? And you will notice that Alice is not blonde. Now, Alice was not blonde. That was something that the folks at Disney got a hold of and decided that that the real Alice Pleasance Liddell, would be changed to a blonde. That was a Disney thing. So, love it. The artwork is amazing. Really appreciate it. Also, Sweet Tea, I got a book in the mail today, got a lot of other stuff. And we went back and said, guess what? Get us names off of these. But we had a really nice talk. We actually showed up at the right time. And both Johnny and myself were down there. And I think we actually got a lot done. You know why? It's going to come as a shock to you. It's going to come as a shock to you. But I didn't get all page 2 Tommy on them. This concept some of you may not be aware of. So I'm going to bring you up to speed on this thing, right? I didn't get sober the way that a lot of other people got sober, right? And I got sober with the help of one individual. And he said, we got 3 steps, right? Now, I've done about 1 million shows on what these 3 steps are. They're not hard to find shows where I talk about this because I talk about it all over the place, right? But I wrote a lot on that second page about who I was, right? What people would say about me if they didn't think I was ever going to hear it. Who was the real me? And the real me was not a very nice person. It wasn't a very good person, right? Straight up, it wasn't. So, by the time I was done filling out that list, people, I was pretty damn sad. I was at a all-time low point, if you really want to know the truth. Thank you. I love Sam Spade. I love that whole genre. That would not bother me at all. But while all this was going on and I'm at the absolute lowest point of my life, he gives me the opportunity to roll out page 3 and basically redesign myself, right? From the ground up. Anik Alexander, good to see you. You know what? Anik's one of the hardest working mods. Really, really appreciate everything you do here and all over the platforms. It's greatly appreciated. It's a tough gig, people. It's a tough gig. And one of my problems is that I've been known to slide into page 2 Tommy from time to time. Raise my voice a little bit. Right? It's rare that this happens at people, because that was such a part of what I wanted the new me to be, that I don't spend a lot of time yelling at people. I do slip up. We all slip up. But I tend to raise my voice at myself. I tend to get kind of loopy at myself, and I tend to lose patience quickly. And what I've come to realize is that it is the anti-connection. It is a connection killer. I love that. Tommy Bird says, my page 3 Tommy gets about half erased once a month or so. Why, thank you. No, we're not getting on the computer. Come on, squirrel, be a good kitty. Be a good kitty. I appreciate you saying that, because that's exactly where I'm at. You know what I mean? There are times that we just start acting a little bit more like page 2, right? And we've had drama, right, around here. It happens. When drama happens around the lifeboat, what I don't want to do as the captain of this rascal is cause trauma, right? Really, what I don't want to do is be that dude, right? So I have tried to insulate myself in ways that keep me. Yes, Monk, I'm just waiting for them to show up in the mailbox. If it makes anybody happy, all I do is bitch about this every day. And the last time I did it, I actually got somebody on the line, and I page 2'd the hell out of them. And you know what I'm learning, people? That it's pretty stupid to come here and talk about connection, and to talk about it and mean it, because I'm not slinging BS here, right? This really is my belief, and I'm really good at articulating it. But I don't know that I'm doing a hell of a job of living it in a lot of ways, particularly when it comes to the connection thing. And I can give you 50 good excuses why, right? But they're excuses. Right? We know what those are, right? If you're new to the boat, I've done so many shows on excuses, and you know what they say about them? There are a lot of things they say about them, and usually it has something to do with somebody's backside. What does it mean to page 2 someone? Cosmic Christie. Page 2 was the Tommy you never met. Right? Page 2 was the Tommy Scoville that none of you here have ever met. Right? Spanx Calhoun got a look at him. But right, Jeffrey Canale got a look at him. A couple of people from my past occasionally wander through here. The vast majority of people that here have only met the guy that turned his life around. Could you say happy birthday to my hubby, Greg? Absolutely. He's 60 years old today, and he is so grateful that I have you in the boat. Hard-ass Marine gets Valentine days for his birthday, and I got April 15th income tax day. Life just isn't fair, right? Wow. Wow, that's tough, but I will do that. Yeah, happy birthday, man. 60's a good one. Greg, my dad talked about, I remember my father saying to me later on as he was really getting on in his years, we talked a lot about his youth and about things. And I said, the glory days to me, I thought about high school and, just when you were kind of hard as a rock. And my dad said, you know what, man, honestly, from about 50 to about 65, he said, was just like the second time he got to be a kid. He just really loved that period of his life. And you know what? He played a lot of golf. He had a lot of fun. And he was a great guy to be around. There's never been a dude like my dad for connection. I'm not joking. He could walk into a room and didn't look like he was working a room. It usually looks like I am. I meet people, and I am very much into coming and saying hello, right? I get really into that. The connection thing. I really do. I really, really get into it. So the difference between this 2 and 3 thing is that I made a list for Q of who I was, and that was page 2, Tommy, and you didn't meet him, right? You didn't. I left him in a federal prison. True story. Naked, after having the crap kicked out of him. But I'm not that dude. And sadly, I act like that dude a lot, right? And I don't do it around people on the boat. And I don't do it if I'm somewhere that someone might be able to take a picture of me or hear me, right? And that's pretty messed up. Hey, Cedar. That's my Valentine right there. I'm sorry, the rest of you, but that's my Valentine right there. That's my baby girl. He's a perfect example, people. I got a perfect example for you right here. I watch other content creators, right? Because I like to be able to say to people on the boat, it'd be great if you could go and check out and just go, because it doesn't matter if the people are talking about whatever. If the people in the comments section are actually talking to one another, right? And connecting, and there are good people there, well, then that's fantastic, right? And I really try to bond with people on the lifeboat. I get very, very into it. I really do. I really do. And sometimes people, I can get so into it that I get stupid, and there's no other way to put it. I promise you, when you hear it, you'll realize that it's pretty much what I'm talking about, right? So what happens is I take the Valium that I told you about on the relapse, right? And then I put beer on top of it, which if I had stuck to the Valium, wasn't a good idea. But the beer on top of it made it exactly what it was. Me trying to alter how I felt because I was in a really crappy mood. And I call that a relapse, right? And Spanx Calhoun and Cedar probably should have been the first 2 people that heard about that. What do you think? Huh? I'd like to hear about that either in the Discord server, right? Or watching it live or on on a replay crew. Because that's the stuff I did as Father of the Month last week rather. And listen, I don't want anybody here. I'm not doing this so you'll tell me that I'm a good dad and that I shouldn't kick my own ass or any of those things. But I'm here to tell you that this is cognitive decline. It is. This is something that would not have happened at any time in my existence. I assure you, it wouldn't have. Sandy, happily. People, you know what to do. And you know what? I'm putting another one up there, right? That first one is for Sandy's father-in-law. And that second one is for Steve Molesky. You hear me, people? We need prayers for good thoughts, prayers, whatever it is you do. I'll make it really seriously. I don't care what you do, right? I do not care what you do. Sorry, but boy, that was a terrible noise, wasn't it? Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Here I am, your rocket queen. Oh yeah, great song. So I'm not particularly proud of that, and it's really important that connection is something that you preach, right? But there are some people that I really made some errors in how I was. There are people that I need to connect with all due respect, before I connect with anyone else on planet Earth. No, that's not Joel's fault. It's mine, and not because. I'll get a few people that say, yeah, well, when you get view hungry, you forget about your kids. And you know what? Those are shots. I'll hear those. I'll hear those. And I'll take them. Sad thing is that really isn't what it is, man. What it really is it's the realization right? That the beer and the Valium were taken because I was having a crap night and I wanted to figure out what was going on. The realization that the use of those two things in combination, I was using the same way that I used heroin for the majority of my life, right? That realization scared the crap out of me to the point where I said, I'm going to run and tell everybody before I decide not to. Does that make sense? I'm going to come and tell everybody before I make a decision to not tell you guys at all. Because you know what? Nobody saw it. Ain't nobody saw it, right? I don't get out much. So, and I wasn't driving. So that happened right here at Casa Scoville. So I had a really good chance of shutting my mouth. And if I shut my mouth, you know what was going to happen? I was going to give myself permission to do it again that day. I wasn't just going to give permission to maybe drink beer and take a benzodiazepine the next time I start feeling like I'm having a bad day. But that's not what I'm talking about. Because honest to God, I could cope with that. I can. But what I would be giving myself permission to do is BS. Right? What it would give me permission to do is come out here and tell you blah, 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 and then do other things behind everyone's back. And that's what I was for 46 years. And truthfully, in the fear, I've said this 1,000 times on the lifeboat because it is a very famous question asked in rehabs all over the world. If there was a drug that you could take that would make it so that you would never get high again, would you take it? My answer always was I would pay somebody to shove that puppy down my throat, because from here to here, that would be a hell of a commitment. You understand? So I need to jump off bridges. I don't need to climb downstairs. If that makes any sense. I really hope that makes sense. The point I'm making is I ran here out of fear. I ran here out of fear. Does not make me a good father, right? It doesn't. But it makes me a drug addict. And sadly, this is where I run when I get scared. But that's a rugged thing to do to people that you love. And you know what? I'm highlighting my kids, but there's a lot of other people who love me. Heard about that relapse that way. You know, I've been real vocal about some of them who have really reached out and really have been just so above and beyond the call when it comes to being friends. I got some content creators out there that have just been incredible. Reached out to me on the daily, checking in, just making sure that everything is all right. Zelda, good to see you. Well, I appreciate that. Where else should I run? This is where I should run. You know, this is where I should run. Liz Ferris, thank you so much, Liz. Hey, it's Relatable Reese. You know what? I'll tell you something. Got to be really careful with Relatable Reese. I have seen now twice where Reese starts doing shows that are remarkably positive. I'm not joking, you people. There's no other way to put it. They are downright remarkably positive. And you know what? People say to me all the time, you don't take credit for anything. You always, right? You know, self-deprecation and all that. Get a load of this. Are you ready? I'm taking all of the credit for her. I'm not joking. I'm taking a ton of credit for 2 very short stays with a couple of people that I've really come to care a lot about. Tampa B, just a great person. Reese is an amazing human being. And getting a chance to talk to them in real life, I'm telling you, people, having an opportunity to talk to them. And I think Reese seeing the fact that there are people out there that she has fans. This sometimes doesn't seem real. You know what I mean? This sometimes doesn't seem real. And the very first time that you go somewhere and people know who you are, right? That's a surreal experience. I promise. It is a surreal experience. And it's funny because Reese and I have talked. You talk before shows, you talk after shows, and we text. And she said, people don't know who I am. I said, trust me, people know who you are, but you don't leave where you're at in Kansas City. You're not really going to get a chance for that. And I think this Florida trip really was a eye opener for Reese. But what she saw is not, hey, there are people there. What she saw is that as these people came together, personalities started changing, right? Quickly. There are people there, and I'm not going to say anybody's names because they're irrelevant. But there were people there who started to change from one day to the next. And I'm talking about really short. We can go all hang out for 8 hours a day. I mean, the first day was like an hour. I don't know what we had the second day, but there was a lot of connection going on. And people who just walked up looking very unsure of themselves started to look different, right? They started to look the way people tell them that they really are. See, people have a way of getting this thing in their head that, especially if we're starting to get a little older, or especially if we're starting to get a little thicker, or especially if we're starting to get insert your favorite neuroses, right? Please. Insert your favorite thing that you just, hyper focus on. I've talked about this on the boat before, the wrinkles on my eyelids. If you think I'm being funny, that is literally something that someone has complained to me about. And I said, I'm so glad you brought that up because they have been driving me nuts since the first day I met you. Honestly, I'm glad it's out in the open because they're hideous. I mean, really, how do you live with yourself? And then, of course, I said, what are you talking about? The wrinkles on your eyelids. How do you see on your eyelids? Right? I mean, you got to shut the things to see if there's wrinkles on them. You're literally snapping pictures of what your eyelids look like when you're closed. You got issues. Yeah. I watched people go like this and start rolling their shoulders back. I saw personalities change in such short, and lest anyone think I'm crazy or blowing this out of proportion, right? I got emails from the very people I'm talking about who said, you know what? I walked away from that feeling different than I have. One of them, in one case, literally said, you may be onto something with this whole connection thing you've come up with. Yeah, well, much like the Just for Men that I tossed in the trash. Look, I didn't come up with that. and I assure you, I'm just a fan of it. I've mentioned that many times. Philip Seymour Hoffman may have been the first actor that I heard say it. It might have been, or it may have been, it was an actor that I heard say it first, I'm pretty sure, or an author. I read it or heard it. And I remember the first time I did, I was like, right? But it's absolutely stolen or adopted or whatever you want to say. But you understand that everything that we're talking about, there's no way to be original. I'm not trying to be a jerk about that. But there really is almost no way to be original. And it's because as long as we've been on this planet, right? And as long as we've all been working and there's only so much we can do, right? This connection stuff. I want to tell you something. Years ago, it was a given, right? It was not something that anyone had to think about. So you had to worry about food, shelter, right? Water, just the bare essentials, right? Now, we're really good at that, right? We're great at that. In fact, more people are going to die from overeating than from starving. I'm proud of that, right? Think of how far we've come. First, society in history where more people die because they eat too much versus that they're not eating enough, right? You know something? I was really wondering who was going to say that. And I know that people on the replay crew are going to say it because they were right there in person. And they said the same thing to me. You look different after the second day. And the people that I went back to, who I was working with, said, now they knew where I went, right? It wasn't like I said, hey, I'm running to the mall. I said, I'm going to do really what I do, and really wanted everybody to watch it because it kind of does paint the picture that I want the world to see, right? Page 3. Yeah. Right? The new and improved, the better version thereof. Now, there was a bit of an epidemic. I'm not joking either when I say a bit of an epidemic, right? This is in no way a joke. There's a bit of an epidemic of people who, yeah, you see this? I can do this too. Check this, Spanks. Think you're the only one that can do this? Huh? Check that out, Spanky. I can do that too. And all I need is the finger right here. He's got to work all of those things. I have the training wheels computer. I just go like this. So that's right. My boy is looking good. My boy is looking good. People, I absolutely walked away from that feeling differently. We had an epidemic on the lifeboat over the last 3 years. And it's something that you don't realize. You start to talk to people and it's exciting because you're working with them and people are talking about they're giving this up or they're giving that up. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. I'm sorry to hear that. Hubs be working, and I know Valentine's celebration. Well, you know what? We're here for you. You can absolutely hang out with us here tonight, and we're all gonna be connected. You're in the right place. But make no mistake, I start working with these people and I start getting excited. It becomes really easy to lose sight of the fact that the person you're talking to may not have gone outside in the last 9 months. And I'm not joking. This is a pandemic. It is. In fact, right here, this is an article, and I got like 6 of them. This one just happens to be the most recent one that loneliness epidemic grips U.S. If you start reading the statistics on this, people don't leave their homes anymore. And that's awful, right? You feel me? People don't leave their homes anymore. And it's good for business. It's good for business. Until you start to realize that the people you're talking to, this is the only connection. If it is the only connection, and you know what? There are people who can't leave. There are people who can't leave. I know several of them that are very, very big parts of my life. One I have known longer than I have had any friend still alive on this planet. My oldest friend, literally. Right? That's a reality for some people. But if it's not your reality, for my friend and for everybody else, I think it would be great if we could start working toward stepping outside. And I'm not making this trivial by any stretch, right? Go to Instagram and watch me crawl through those tunnels, right? I was terrified. I'm not messed up to tell you that. I was terrified. I'm claustrophobic. 46 days. Cosmic. 46 days is huge, right? 46 days is huge. And every time your name comes up, I think, and my daughter loves you, that's really a good sign for me, right? It really is a good sign for me. Congratulations. 46 days sober truly is awesome. It really is, isn't it? It's great that there's a place that we can come and we can do this, right? We can cheer for somebody because they are 46 days sober. The rest of the world got they have a different philosophy, people. And that's not something that's sinking in, right? It's a different philosophy. I'm proud of you. How do you like them apples? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. 46 days is hard. It is. Thank you, JJ Bird. I appreciate you. I know a few went by, but I'll check them at the end, I promise. Cosmic, that is such good stuff. It really is. And I'm going to tell you something else. I'll tell you another quick story about Connection. right? We had a drama happens on YouTube channels, whether you want it to or not. It's just that's something that happens. And it's always awful. It really is. It's always awful. And you get groups of people. And if you happen to be the content creator, right, for some reason, you get a gavel, right? You're a judge, you're a juror, you're an executioner, and you don't want any of these jobs, right? Now, I got Spanky, who's above and beyond. Right? And I got a lot of great mods. But the buck has to stop, right, with Tommy. And there was some drama coming, right? And there were people involved. And I start catching this from nobody that's involved. No joke. I'm catching this from people who are observing it, but there's nobody involved. None of the characters involved have said a word. So I went and made a few changes and talked to some people. I have encountered very few times in my life a situation where nobody said anything about anybody else. For real. There was nobody that said, let me tell you what this, none of it. I'm blown the hell away by that. Lord Kiss Freak, thank you so much. Any news on the journals? I was talking about this earlier. One of the things that has sparked this earlier conversation is the fact that I went to town on someone because they work at a place that probably prints for a place that probably works for Amazon, right? I really doubt this cat said it. Big wig at Amazon. And they really doubt this cat, who, by the way, probably wasn't even in this country, right? Had a very, very thick accent, but had a name like Peter. You know the drill? I wasn't nice to this person. In fact, I wasn't vulgar. I didn't curse. But if you had heard, I thought about it afterwards. If the conversation had been recorded and somebody played it, like had just come here, hit the play button and let you guys listen to it, how many of you would go, yeah, I'm done. This isn't the guy I think it is. And you know what? Some of you would have. I promise. Because the guy on the phone didn't sound like this. Like all of you nice people who say ASMR, right? You'd like to hear me, talk you to sleep. You wouldn't have wanted to hear the tone of voice I was using with this person. And it's a bit of hypocrisy, but that's not my problem. My problem is it's the anti-connection, and it's a ripple in the wrong direction. Not only did I miss an opportunity to connect with a cat, right, that very well maybe just needed it. I'm not joking. You just don't know, right? You don't know. But we are doing another father show, son show tomorrow. If you're asking JD, yeah, Calhoun and I are going to be doing another father show, son show tomorrow. Yeah, I really am believing that I've seen things now that I don't know. I guess it's empirical, right? I mean, this isn't good enough. It's friggin' awesome. It's friggin' awesome. But I think we can do more. And I think that I love that, Christy. She says, I get strangers coming up to me constantly. People see my face as someone to talk to. So I let them get whatever they want to say out. The entire world is looking for someone to talk to. We don't talk to one another even when we talk to one another, right? Honestly, there are a pat group of subject matters, right, that are brought up in conversation that are sort of either approved or not approved, depending on how you look at it. And they're going to be on issues that divide us, right? You go to a barbecue, there's going to be some jackass talking about, who's running for this and who's running for that. And we've reached a point, right, where we're all afraid to talk about any of that because we'll end up hating one another, right? So everybody just kind of goes, well, if that's how it's going to be, and if you're going to go to the party and you can't have a conversation, you can't tell anybody an opinion on anything, right? And I want to tell you something, to be honest. It's Valentine's Day, right? And I would like to tell every one of the ladies here this evening that you look beautiful. And I'm not a bad person for saying that. I'm not judging you based only on your beauty. I'm not highlighting that beauty is the most important thing on planet Earth, nor am I trying to detract from your personality versus just what you look like, right? But believe it or not, there are a lot of dudes out there that will never tell anyone again that they look beautiful or that they look attractive because they have been taken apart for saying it, right? They have been taken apart for saying it. So you know what? Like I said to Tampa B man when I met her, I said, I hope that this is not offensive, or right? You're a beautiful woman in real life. You know what I mean? She was beautiful when I saw her on the screen. It's a beautiful thing to be able to say that to somebody. I want to live in that world again. Right? I'm not talking about being a cat and walking up to every single person you meet and being creepy, right? I'm not. But I'd like to live in a world where I can just say, you know what, you look great in that. Without being afraid that someone is going to think I'm a dirtbag, right? Or that there's something wrong with me or any of those things. But that's where we're at. So I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it without saying sorry. Hey, Buster Crochet, question. You brought me and my other's keeper together. I will be doing a show tomorrow and more shows in the future. The connection thing is real, and it is real and has a real effect. Yes, sorry. The lifeboat effect. It is free. You know what? I love it. I really do. I love it. And I'm looking people. The shows that are spinning out, there's good stuff out there. There really is. There's great stuff. There's content that's being created that is bringing people together, and it's bringing people together in ways that I simply couldn't. Okay? But that's beautiful, right? It really is. No one is going to be everybody's cup of tea. No one is ever going to be everybody's cup of tea. There are people who are never going to listen to me for a bunch of different reasons, right? It's just how it is. There are people who Reese is going to rub the wrong way. But I'll tell you something that I did discover, right? I had no less than 4 of you they write to me and say, I said some things about Reese that I feel bad about. And you know why? Because positivity really is an incredible thing. Connection is an incredible thing. And if you haven't seen, there's a new Reese that sort of like comes in and out, like sort of you see sparks of it. But it is a new Reese, and it is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Talking about connection, talking about positivity, realizing that the people out here, because this is a sea of hate, right? This is not new to anybody. I don't just mean the net. I mean the world, right? We're in a sea of hate. Interesting question, isn't it? Why the hell is so much hate? Why so much hate? I don't know. I have an idea. Maybe ask the next person who seems to really hate you. Maybe do it nicely. I saw someone do it tonight. Thought it was rather amazing. Classy as hell, too. I'm going to get more emails. I promise you, it's going to be more than 4. JJ Bird says people are mean. You know what? A lot of them are. There are 228 here right now. I don't think any of you are. So you know what we need to do, don't you? We need to multiply. That's what we need to do. Only 220 days until the next cruise. Wow. I think we'll get it all pulled together. Johnny Scoville is he's just too big a star, people. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, My brother's reaching the next echelon. He is exactly the same person in every way. I'm not saying, I swear to you, he's the anti-star as far as that goes. But boy, he's becoming a lot more sought after, right? We need to multiply. I was hoping somebody was going to bust out with a little 80s reference, but since it hadn't happened, I'm going to do it. JD says, Reliable Reese is a class act. She's an amazing and unique individual. Her show tonight was next level. You're not the first person I've heard say that tonight. And you're not the first person I've heard say that this week. Somebody said that about a show a couple of days ago. In fact, I think I was talking about this with Spanx Calhoun. And Hummingbird. My days of multiplying are probably done as well. At least that one. Robert Palmer. There you go, Lisa. I'm sorry, Calhoun. Did I step on you? No? Okay, good. So, yeah, that Johnny's kind of a big deal, man. He really is. Now, Allison Metcalf, I think that you can do this, and you can do it with class, because I have watched people do it with class. I really have. I have said in the past that I promise you, people, when I'm a dirt bagger, I'm in the wrong. I come out and I talk about it. That's who I am, and it's who I'm always going to be. And I trash some people sometimes on this channel who sometimes deserve it. And there are some people that I talk about on this channel sometimes who don't deserve it at all, right? Any of my exes, right, or any of those people from my past don't deserve any more fun, right, than they had being with me. But I had an ex who was there for my first stroke, and this this person was an advocate and was terrifying. I'm not joking. Terrifying with how she dealt with these people, but never disrespectful. But she said things like, "No, you're going to answer this," or "Get over here right now." Someone said, "We're going to be with him in a moment." And she said, "No, you're not." Right? One side of his body is like, she knew what was happening. And that you can advocate. Happy V-Day, Tommy. Love your channel. Found you through AA Ron. You should meet Collective Clips and do a show with him. He spent some time in prison and has theories very close to yours about Danny M. And his name is I will have to look into that. I'll be honest. I don't do a lot of prison shows. I do some prison stuff because you guys like it, and because you guys asked for it. But I'll be really honest with you. It's really for me, my story, I think, my story starts once I got sober, right? And how I got sober is a pretty great story too. Now, I have no problem owning my past. I really don't. But I don't want to become a channel that almost accidentally glorifies the life. I got an email that, you know what, I'm going to read to you. I promise I'll read this to you. I got an email from somebody that I didn't get an age on, but they've got to be in their 30s, because I really don't have anybody that watches the Lifeboat that's under the age of 30. Our demographic is definitely like we're an older audience, right? We don't have a lot of teenagers. But I got a letter from somebody that was asking me questions specifically about prison, and I'll read it to you, and you can tell me if this letter doesn't sound like this person wants to go to prison. The questions they're asking, how they're asking it, like this is a really cool thing in the minds of a lot of people. Like they talk about street cred, or they talk about any of these things that, Go into the joint gets you. I want to tell you what the go into the joint gets you. It gets you a good chunk of your life flushed down the toilet. Time that you could have spent with your family, time that you could have spent petting a furry creature, which is a really beautiful thing. You do not realize how unhappy you will be without it. $49 going on 18 at heart, says JD. Boy, I get that. I get that. So, people, I am going to make a concentrated effort at being better at this connection thing. I'm not playing games, right? I really want to. I really want to get very serious about this connection thing. I'm watching it heal people who I didn't realize were ever going to benefit from anything that I could possibly do on planet Earth. I am seeing people that I just did not think ever could come to a place like the lifeboat and get something out of it. And I'm seeing people that are changing their lives. And you know what? It's as exciting as anything ever, ever. Well, here's the thing. This is the most logical question in the world, is it not? If anyone is wanting to go to prison, you have to wonder how miserable their life outside is. Now, here's the thing with that. And I grew up in the 80s, right? So I'm not agreeing with Tipper Gore, or, I'm not saying that music is, heavy metal is going to cause suicide, or, all of the crazy stuff. But let's make no mistake, right? There is glorification of prison, right? While I was in there, the famous guys, rap stars, and people that were in the feds, you knew where every one of them were, right? You knew where every one of them were, and some of them are trying to record, right from over the phone so that they, oh man, and every single person in there is writing a rap song for when they get out, right? There is this thought process of, what, I go in, I got 5, 6 years in there to work on, really getting my game down. I'm not paying rent, doing anything like that. And they got a music room, whatever. I can go in there, start. There are people who are looking at this as a business move. So if I were to jam enough of this, drug in my backside before, because if you're getting arrested, if you know what you're planning on getting busted for, right, you can smuggle a whole lot of dope in. Have that be your plan. And there are guys who are doing this. And I'm telling you, the dude asking me these questions, this was his plan. I'm going to read you the letter. I'll do a show where I talk specifically about I'll do a night yard with Russ, and I'll open it up with this letter. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow too. I don't know. But we'll do it this week. But tomorrow there will definitely be an interview with myself and my son, and I'm very much looking forward to that. To somebody that said, I would have been very proud of how Connection was sold over on the Relatable channel. Do you think I wasn't there? I really did walk away when I said I was embarrassed I left. I wasn't joking. But when somebody starts doing that, trust and believe 14 of you reached out to me and said, you should be seeing this. You should be seeing this. You should be seeing this. You guys have a way of doing that. Advocating for all 2 teenagers here. That's my girl. That's my girl. And you know what, people? Look, do me a favor. This is because I'm in the doghouse here. Can you throw 4 4s up in the Can you throw 4 4s up in the comment section for me? 4 of them, people. 4 4s in the comment section. That's for Cedar. Yeah. There you go. My daughter's a big fan of the number 4. A really big fan of the number 4. So I thought I would throw that out there. Yeah, who's the other? What do you mean who's the other? You're all. Aren't you all what? 19? 29. I don't think that there's a man or woman here this evening over the age of 29. Right? I'm celebrating my 29th birthday yet again. And I continue to, I'm going to start doing that. My mom did it her entire life. I don't know why I can't. I use the 18 to 24 YouTube demographic for my age. It's my Discord role. Nice. Cedar, thank you for all of the work. Yeah, you know where you should talk to? Cricket. That's who you want to talk to is Cricket. Can someone put up Cricket's info, please? Sorry, Johnny. That's my hydrating. Sorry. Purple bottle. That is for a friend. You know who you are. Is Cedar's daughter the one I met, Captain? No, it is not. She was not in town when you were there. You met a niece of mine is who you met. I mean, you met a niece of mine while you were here. My daughter was in lovely California at that time. We multiply. 14? A little coming in there a little young. Thanks, Tattoo Warrior. Let's see here. Duchess Diane. I like this. We will all be here if you need us. Iced Autumn says. And there's an awful lot of you. Hey, Miss Dragon. Miss Dragon, put your link up there, please. And I would like you, the wrenches, yet again, to put up the link for Needing a Meeting. And do yourself a favor right now and hit subscribe, because I'm going to be going over there, and then it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you to find me, because I'm going to be going over there several times, right? Several times in the very near future. I'm going to be doing some stuff over there. My recommendation to you would be make it easier on yourself and hit subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a buttload over there. Susie G says, you heard Danny M has been on suicide watch and the lockdown is over. Any updates? Just out of curiosity. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Where are you hearing that? As a guy that did a lot of time, information coming out of there on Danny, it's going to be sketchy at best. I have done a couple of recent shows on the Masterson thing, and I have come down on a couple of different ways on either side, right? In one of the two videos, I said, I've checked the guy out and I've watched this guy's stuff, right? I watch his stuff because this guy has demonstrated the ability to get info from people who are obviously making phone calls from the inside to someone that he knows on the outside, and he has produced some accuracy with it, right? So guy's not just spitting air. Now, on the other one, like the one about him being on suicide watch, you can find that all over the internet. But if you read the date on it, right, that they're all really old. When he absolutely was on suicide watch on multiple occasions, right? But my understanding is that no information has come out of Corcoran that says that. I haven't found anything anywhere, nor have I heard anybody yet predicting that. What I know is this: the lockdown's over tomorrow, right? And that's frightening. I promise you, not just for him, but for a lot of other people. I guarantee you that there are a bunch of people who would like this lockdown to continue forever, right? These are probably things that you don't think about unless you've been inside, right? But when a lockdown occurs, there's a guy next to you that might owe somebody $3,000, right? There's a guy next to that person who may have just got a big pile of dope, on front, right? That he was planning on selling. And guess what's going to happen if he spends 3 months in that cell? He ain't selling that stuff. He's going to do it. So a lockdown changes the dynamics of a yard really, really quickly. A lot of weird stuff happens during lockdowns. But in my experience, yards are usually at their most violent and most unpredictable right after you come off a lockdown, right? Because people have had a long time to shoot lines back and forth, right? You're thinking, well, if he came during a lockdown, people haven't seen him out on the tier yet. There ain't a dude in that building. First floor, second floor, third floor. There's not a dude anywhere in that building that doesn't know that Danny's got there. I mean, from floor to the communication system inside, right? Like the prison phone, talking through toilets, talking through vents, shooting spun line. I promise you, people, guys can communicate and hand signals, right? They do a version of American Sign that's not American Sign, but it's all done in letters, right? And after each word they wave it off, and then they start doing the next one and they wave it off. And guys that are good at it, that are really good at it, will sit in the windows. Now, I never had the eyesight for this crap, people, but they're looking from one building to the next, and guys are telling them what's going on. And then, the guy would step back from the window and go, "Oh, yeah, somebody over there just got bucked." Right? He got bucked. And they lugged him. Right? He's on his way down to medical, or he's on his way to the hole or whatever. Lots of that crap goes on. Right? Lots of it. So I understand what you're saying. I've seen some of those videos. I'll be honest with you. There are videos that are being made like, oh, man, I'm trying to pick fights with any creators ever. You understand? I don't talk about other creators. I don't want to do that. But Lord Kiss Freak. The plot twist tomorrow. Yeah, I think there probably will be one. I think there will probably be one. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I don't. Every once in a while, I come across a prison channel, and it'll have a name, and the name will be something that no inmate on earth would ever utter out loud. Do you know what I mean? Like you give yourself a name that a convict would never call himself, because there are words that may not mean anything to people on the street. Like a convict probably wouldn't have the word punk, right? In any of the descriptions of the as a very extreme example. Right. But there's a ton of other words that no one would ever use. And I see people and I just think, I wonder if this guy ever did time, or if this is just somebody that got the thug makeover. You walk into a tattoo parlor with about $350 and say, no color, right? No color. Let's start with the knuckles and work our way back. I'm not joking at all. This is a true story. I was in a county jail. And a guy came in. And on his elbow, he had a big spider web, right? And he had a teardrop, right? Teardrop tattoo coming off the side of his face. And people got to talking and this and that. Now that teardrop means that he killed somebody, right? On the inside. That's what that teardrop is, right? So we're looking at this dude now. In theory, this is a killer. This is a stone cold killer. You didn't just get that. You killed somebody for that. So we're looking at him. He's young, but you don't judge a book by its cover in prison, right? It's a really bad idea. But I'm looking at the spider web on this guy's arm. And I said to the dude next to me, I said, how old do you figure this kid is? And he goes, maybe 19, maybe 20. I go, that spider web's got 9 rings in it, right? Those rings, right, are normally how many years you've done time, right? So the spider webs, like the webs, the rings start getting, closer together and closer together. And, the spider web starts getting bigger and bigger out. Some guys do gravestones on their back and they'll do the years that way. There's a lot of guys who mark stuff off, using tats. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. It was Jumpsuit Pablo. I've watched some of Jumpsuit Pablo's stuff. I have not seen his most recent video. Honestly, I enjoy his stuff. There's a lot of guys I don't dig. I kind of enjoy his stuff. Truly, I don't normally. Yeah, normally I wouldn't even put it up if it was someone else's. I dig the guy's stuff. I'm not mad at him. And I'm kind of a fan of his. In all honesty, I think the guy does a pretty decent job of research and stuff. Lucinda, thank you so much. Sending everyone love. Send me some uplifting thoughts, please. Insomnia is doing you in. I want to tell you something, Lucinda. I fought with insomnia my entire life. True story. I have tried virtually everything. And if you go back through some of the old shows, you'll come across some stuff that I've done specifically on this, where I talk about different things that I've done that are like cheats that you can do, sort of like where you cheat in the system, you're not taking anything for it, but things that you can do that can knock you out. Certain things you never do if you have insomnia, right? Like eat something chocolate after 7 o'clock at night, right? Don't ever do that if you're an insomniac. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Donate for Reese to use a blue light to stop the red face. I'm not exactly sure I understand that, but I'm not very bright. What's the first stop on the top? I don't know the answer to that. I do not know the answer to that. There's been some talk of a couple of different cities. I know a lot of people are sweetie, it's not that I came around. I just, in all honesty, here was my one thing with him. The day that he did the video about being kidnapped, and he was joking, like it was, and he came out, he was honest about it. He said, I made a lot of money. That was the first time I had ever seen the cat. No joke, right? That and he popped up on my feed, but at the same time, we were losing somebody, right? We were losing somebody from our community, and it was somebody that had been missing, and they were sending people over to the guy's apartment. So it was just bad timing. I was never, I never disliked the cat. I just said, "Ooh, I wish people wouldn't joke about stuff like that because it's heavy." You know what I mean? That's heavy stuff, and at the time it was really going on. Right over here. That's all I was saying. But I do like watching his stuff. I'll be honest with you. I like watching his stuff, and Larry Long. Yeah, Larry's great. And Larry, I've done shows with Larry over on Surviving the Survivor, and I had a lot of fun with him. He's an interesting cat. Kelly B, nice. Horton Thistle, good to see you. I have to swish 3 times after popcorn. Let me tell you something about popcorn. I tell people this all the time. If I eat 1 kernel of popcorn, you hear me? 1. I don't need to eat 2 or a handful of anything. 1. And a small amount of that shell. The ones that are super, super hard. It's going to get between my tooth and my gum, and it's going to live there for 2 or 3 years. That's what's going to happen until I go to a dentist and that dentist gets it out. So, yeah. Thank you, Taekwondo. I do. I take a THC gummy to sleep. I was able to fall asleep. I was not able to stay asleep. I was not a person that could not do the sleep thing. I was a person that knocking out was great. And then I would have a really, really bad oh, thank you, Luna. I had not seen that. One day and to go until he's back to his cell. Any way you shake it's going to be nowhere to run to, baby. Who's that? Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. Nowhere to hide. You guys can spell that hide any way you want. Oh, and on that one, I'm going to leave. Listen, I don't know. Coming to a city near you, if by some chance you want that city to be yours, there are things you can do to make that happen. Reach out to us at the probably a lot smarter than I am. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. This puppy right here, this is a cat in the basket. It's a cat in the basket. Where is that son of mine? Thanks, Calhoun. He probably fell asleep while I was working. You know, that's what happens, man. The kids over I do it. You tell the
I'm
truth.
working too hard over here.
You were in
doing
Discord,
too many things
weren't
at
you?
once.
You were in Discord, weren't you?
No, I was actually texting.
Okay.
I'm in a chat with some mods.
Okay. As long as you're sure. I'm not sure I believe any of that, but I'm gonna let it slide.
How's my audio?
Let's see this real quickly. Let me make sure that I didn't miss any of these. Did I, Calhounis?
I don't think so, but I did walk away a number of times. Let me look.
Oh, Lord Kissfreak says Danny Masterson needs to grow a set. Not chop them off. Wow. Lucinda, I did see, but you know what? I just want to see Lucinda again. Lucinda, thoughts and prayers for you. Because insomnia sucks. It really does.
You've had insomnia since I was a wee one.
I have had insomnia your entire life. Yeah. But I am about 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks into taking a gummy as a way to sleep. And I'll tell you what, it has changed my life. And guess what? No apologies. No apologies. I'm done apologizing for squat. Unless I did something wrong. So you know what I'm going to do now, people? I'm going to hang up and call my Valentine. The one and only Peter Scoville.
Real quick, what time are we doing our interview tomorrow?
I'm not sure. So make sure you guys are here first thing in the morning, because by then I'll be all ready to tell you.
But it won't be on the 5s, correct?
It will not be on the 5s.
All right.
It will not be on the 5s.
I feel like there was something.
Got a topic of conversation to continue. Hold on, dude. Do I have a topic of conversation to continue with on Discord? That's a great. Yeah, here you go. A great topic.
Give him some homework.
Yeah, no, here you go. Seriously, the idea of this show going on the road and going from city to city. I have heard 4 or 5 people since this got brought up who have weighed in with ideas that no one had thought of, that really has made this, instead of a kind of a pipe dream, something that looks like it's very real and might start to happen. So feel free to talk about Connection. If there's a town you think we should be going to, tell us why, anything like that. That's a good time. Continue.
And Zena, I think that my sister would blush super hard at that question, but I'll ask her.
I didn't see it, but
that's all right. I saw it.
All right, I am off to see the wizard. All right, everybody, have a very happy Halloween, and guess what? I think you all look beautiful, every last one of you. What do you think of that? I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.